Hey guys, Jen's here. So I know my lighting isn't great. I'm probably going to trip over my words even more than usual because it's later in the day, but I committed to posting on Thursdays for you. So I'm here and please bear with me. I've been very busy with intakes today, which is a good thing. I hope this will help you apply. You can apply this information in whatever state you're in. I will be speaking specifically to the Texas Department of Corrections and Justice. That is, the background is that we had a friend of an inmate reach out to us and wanted to know if we could get an application to him. He's currently in prison, but he's about to be released. And it sounds like I forget how they refer to them when they're still in prison. They're not parole officers. He won't get a parole officer until he's released, but he is already being required to provide a proof of residence or an address for his residence. So it's all been a little bit cloudy because I'm getting the secondhand when his friend can hop on the phone and talk to him, and we haven't really experienced this yet because we've been working with referral partners on the outside, like parole. We've had referrals from parole officers and also from inpatient organizations. So this was new to us. So my partner and I, we were actually in Montana and we promised to send in this application. So we mailed it today from Montana to Texas. And that was like $60 just to send in an application, but we wanted to help this guy out. Well, what we didn't realize, and the reason we were sending this to this particular location is because what the friend had told me is that when mail goes to the institution, it gets rerouted. So the prison is down in Cuero, Texas, like near the coast, but everything gets rerouted to Dallas for scanning and whatever. And if it's approved in Dallas, then it gets sent to a tablet that the inmate can then review their mail on. So she said, because we were a sober living facility or transitional home, that we could mail it directly to him at the unit. So we did. We paid $60 to do this, to get it there in a hurry so we could get him through the process, get him approved, and hopefully get him approved and give him the address. Well, she was saying that hasn't shown up. What we realized is that, just so our conversation, she didn't say this specifically in the beginning, that you have to be an approved housing provider. Didn't realize that. So probably what has happened is our mail has been rerouted to Dallas, is going through that scanning process, and sounds like that probably takes usually 3 weeks, but who knows? In the meantime, I said, well, I'll find out what I can do about getting us approved status with TDCJ. Like I said, I'm going to be tripping over all my words today. And I've been practicing this with TDCJ. Anyway, so in my research, I called their office and I learned that there are 2 different programs. One is THAP, which is a Temporary Housing Assistance Program. That one is state funded and very selective. Let me start, because if you're not in Texas, I just went and Googled approved housing for TDCJ. So whatever your acronym for your system is, whatever. And that's what led me to a PDF letter, which of course, when I called in, was out of date. I called the person that it told me to call. It was from 2021. So I thought maybe it's out of date, but sometimes this stuff moves slow, so it's probably still accurate. I call in and I ask for this woman, and like, she's retired, but pick up the phone, make the call. Eventually you'll get to where you need to go, right? So I got to the right department. Once I got there, they were super helpful and super willing to answer all of my questions. And I think they want to help too. They want to add to the resources. So don't be afraid to call. Don't be afraid to sound stupid and ask what certain acronyms mean. Ask them to repeat what they're saying. Ask them to clarify. I certainly did. So 2 programs in Texas, at least. The Temporary Housing Assistance Program, THAP, that is state funded, and she stressed very selective. So you have to go through a screening process. And let me tell you what I read in this initial letter that they put out, which would disqualify us if it is up to date. There's a few, different requirements just about pay and stuff, but ultimately, right off the bat, you cannot have a THAP in a county that already has a halfway house. And there were like 5 or 6 counties they already had listed at Travis, Hidalgo, Harris, I think, Tarrant, the big counties. Again, you can go Google it. You can reach out to me in the comments. I'm happy to share. But for the THAP, it also said that it has to be a multifamily property or previously a hotel. So these are obviously larger facilities. And I didn't really go down that route too far. We could still apply for that, but I have an application. I can look into it, see if it still mentions that requirement there. You can't be in those counties. But even though we're not in one of those counties, we're certainly not a multifamily or previously a hotel. So the other one is let me finish telling you about the THAP. So there's a screening, you fill out the application, they screen you. It's things for either of these situations. The owners cannot be on parole, probation, monitoring. They'll outline all of those requirements, but you're going to have to go through a background check as well as an owner of the house. But for the THAP, you can have a maximum of 3 offenders at a time, but it's very unlikely. And when I say offenders, they're either they're still on parole. If they're no longer parolees, then they're not considered an offender anymore. So you can have other people in your house, but you can only have a maximum of 3, by their definition, offenders in the home at a time. But that's the way she approached it. She was saying, we'll only send you a maximum of 3 at a time. So I would look at that both ways. Like if you already have somebody that came to your home, not as a referral, that is on parole, then I would be very cautious about taking in any more than 3. So, make sure you're paying attention to that. But what she was coming from, because what she proceeded to tell me was to give me an idea. She said of 8 facilities, there are only 9 offenders total placed right now. So what she was saying is they're very selective. They're not placing very many in these THAP homes anyway. So she was coming at it like I had to say, well, let me explain that I'm not, for this particular phone call, I'm not looking to use this program to fill our beds. I'm actually looking to hopefully get somebody placed in our home that is one person that is coming out, make our home available to them. And then with the THAP, they will pay for up to 180 days. And that price is a day rate that it sounds like needs to be negotiated with their department. The person can stay past 180 days, but they'll need to find a way to pay for it after 180 days. Okay, so the other program is AHR. That is, oh man, I had it earlier, hang on. Alternative Housing Resource, AHR, Alternative Housing Resource. Now she mentioned a few different ways that you could get a deposit. Sorry, this late in the afternoon, the kids are also going crazy and making weird noises. In that way, you could be paid a deposit by the family, any scholarship, various ways that you probably already have thought of to get paid up front. And again, there's gonna be a screening process. They're gonna have to check out your property, but it's not quite as selective and stringent as the THAP. This is more about just making sure that you're like not overpopulated, the home is safe. Now, one thing that's notable is depending on what your goals are, they didn't really want to give a timeline. And of course, this just depends on your system, your state. It could take anywhere from a few days to a few months to get approved. So as I learn more about this, I will come back, and I'm also thinking I have somebody in my community that I think might be able to help us out a lot more with this. So I'm gonna look at getting connected with him and see if we can set up a Zoom and get some more of these questions answered, because I would like to know a lot more about the process of getting parolees from release into safe, stable homes. Let's see, a lot of chicken scratch today. I think that's it for today, and I hope that was helpful for some of you guys. All right, have a good one. Take care.